All right, so for today's talk, we've all heard that basketball is a chess game, right? We have, it's a higher game of chess when you're talking about playing basketball, and um, I feel like there's a higher game that isn't talked about enough. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm tripping, but the higher game of chess isn't just your basketball IQ. It isn't just the game within the game of, this it's the game going on. So let's say it's the Nets versus the Lakers, or it's the Warriors versus the Lakers, Celtics versus Lakers, and you're looking at certain matchups within the game. So the game is this team versus this team. It's a 5-on-5 matchup you see on the floor. And sometimes the game within the game is the coaches, going at each other. It's the strategy, the game plan of that. It's this star player versus this star player, or this certain matchup of, this star player versus this key defender, or this role player versus this X factor over here. So that's kind of the game within the game. The mini chess match that you see within, the matchups of how this player might manipulate the game, like James Harden manipulate the game, but trying to get fouls and slow it down, get under control, whatever that is. That's the higher game of chess. And that's probably one thing I really do miss about hooping, like that chess game that you used to play. This the strategic matchup, the competition, whatever. But anyway, I think there's a higher game of chess. It's a higher basketball IQ you have to have that comes to the game of basketball, that you really have to be, not even like the skill level wise, but you have to be a different place to understand and tap into it. I think that's the EQ, the emotional intelligence of the game and how it flows. So I was listening to this a while back. I was listening to Isaiah Thomas on an interview, and he was saying how for him to survive in the 80s and late 90s against the Birds and Magic and Jordans alike, he had to figure out something else to be up there, because all three of those guys are 6'6" and up. Jordan 6'6", Bird and Magic are like 6'9", right? So Isaiah's standing at 6'1", so he can't just physically impose the game how the other guys do. I mean, skill-wise, he is up there with them guys, like he's in that, category or whatever, but he had to figure out something else to really have a handle on the game. So he would, not just basketball IQ, but he couldn't get at those guys, so he had to go around those guys. So he couldn't get at Magic, so he would take a little turn. He go down the street to Magic and target James Worthy if he could, or Byron Scott if he could. He couldn't get at Larry Bird because mentally they were on the same game. So he would take a left and get at a teammate of his. He couldn't get at Jordan, but he knew he could turn down the road and get at Horace Grant. So if I can throw off this piece over here, a part of this, if I could find a fracture in this team, I could disrupt everything else I had going on. So that's the emotional intelligence of the game, to where I'll play the mind games with you and emotionally poke at you to see where you at. So that's where mental toughness comes in, and that's where you get to see what guys are really built of. Because yes, it's cool for you to have a high basketball IQ and to understand the game. It's another thing to stay composed when things are going your way. If somebody talking to you crazy, they know how to say the triggers for you to get you bothered or whatever. And I feel like that's the next level of the IQ of the game. The chess match is the chess game that you have to. If I move this piece, how does my opponent respond? So I can't go at the king of the Bulls, which is Jordan or Phil Jackson. I have to go at this rook over here. I have to go at this knight. I have to go at this bishop. So I can't do the big move yet. I have to chip around, isolate them to where now I can attack how I want to. So I don't know if y'all play chess, and that whole piece might just went over your head. But basically, if I can attack the center piece that I really want to go at, I can't go the cheat. The point of chess is to get the king, capture the king. So if I can't capture the king, I'm gonna pick off all the pieces around to make sure you do that. So sometimes basketball IQ is not the end game; it's the emotional part of the game that can win or lose games. We all seen somebody played a great game, they lost composure, and now the rest of the game, and basically you lost the handle of the team after that. So there's the next level of the chess game that we have to really start talking about more. Is the EQ part. You feel me? So if I can understand my team at a certain level, my opponents at a certain level, I can really manipulate the game now to where I can really win without being as skilled per se. So you don't have to be the smartest player on the floor to understand this. You have to understand people enough to understand this. So if you understand people and you understand the game, there's a good chance you can start applying this. But that's it. My 5 minutes close to getting up. Play a higher game of chess. It's not just about the tic tac toes and the checkers. Not even just chess. It's the higher level game of chess. So That's it. See you next week. Hope you liked it. If not, I hope you loved it. But that's it. See you.